Dr. Zathan's crystalline fingers trembled as she watched the human medic stride into the emergency bay. The Velkari physician had sent 3 urgent requests to the Galactic Medical Council, each one more desperate than the last. But they had sent her instead, a human field medic named Sarah Chen, the patient. A young Velkari cub named Tilmai whimpered on the bio-bed. His lower left appendage bent at an unnatural angle, the translucent flesh already darkening with internal bleeding. Zathan had administered every analgesic in her catalog, but the child's biology rejected them all. The bone needed to be set within the next standard hour, or permanent damage would occur. "You requested emergency orthopedic assistance?" Sarah asked, her scanner already moving over the injured limb. "Yes, but..." Zathan's vocal membrane fluttered with uncertainty. "The council said they would send a specialist with gravitic realignment equipment." "You are equipped for this procedure?" Sarah smiled, and Zathan felt her chromophores shift with unease. Humans smiled in many contexts, she had learned. This particular smile suggested something alarming. "Doc, I've set broken bones in combat zones, refugee camps, and once in the cargo hold of a ship losing atmosphere. I've got everything I need right here." She patted a worn canvas bag slung over her shoulder. She then watched in growing horror as Sarah extracted items from the bag. Strips of metallic fabric, cylindrical rolls of adhesive material, and several rigid rods of what appeared to be simple polymer. "These are your medical instruments?" Zathan's voice rose an octave. "Field splinting materials, yeah." Sarah knelt beside the whimpering cub, her voice dropping to something gentle. "Hey there, buddy. I know it hurts. We're going to fix you up, okay?" The cub's large eyes focused on her, and something in the human's tone seemed to calm him. "Dr. Zathan," Sarah said, not looking away from her patient, "I'm going to need you to hold his shoulders. This is going to hurt him, but it'll be over quick." "Wait, you intend to manipulate the bone directly? Without gravitic suspension? Without cellular regeneration initiators?" Zathan's chromophores flashed bright red. "That is barbaric." Sarah's jaw tightened. "That tech is great when you have it. We don't. What we do have is about 45 minutes before this kid's bone starts healing wrong." "Your call, Doc." Zathan looked at Tilmai, then at the primitive materials, then back at the human's steady gaze. Against every instinct, against her entire medical training, she positioned herself at the cub's shoulders. "Talk to him," Sarah instructed. "Keep him focused on you." What happened next would haunt Zathan's dreams for weeks. The human's hands moved with shocking speed and precision. She palpated the injury site, her fingers somehow intuiting the exact nature of the fracture through touch alone. Then, with a swift, controlled motion, she pulled. The cub shrieked. Zathan nearly released him, but Sarah's hands never wavered. "Almost done, buddy. Almost done." The human's voice remained impossibly calm as she aligned the bone segments, feeling with those inadequate biological sensors for proper positioning. When she was satisfied, her hands moved in a blur. The polymer rods went along either side of the limb. The metallic fabric wrapped around them molded to fit. And then, Zathan could barely process what she was seeing, the human began wrapping the entire assembly with the adhesive material. Layer after layer of what her translator identified as duct tape. "This is insane," Zathan whispered. "This is brutal." "This is done," Sarah said, sitting back. The entire procedure had taken less than 4 minutes. The cub's whimpering had subsided to soft mewls. The limb, while still swollen, sat at a natural angle, immobilized within its cocoon of primitive materials. Sarah pulled out a scanner, at least she had some proper equipment, and studied the readings. Bone alignment within 0.3 millimeters of optimal. The splint will keep it stable while his own biology does the healing. She looked up at Zathan. "Do your people's bones knit on their own?" "Of course they do," Zathan snapped. "But we don't simply force them into position and wrap them with adhesive tape." "Why not?" Sarah asked simply. "It works." Over the next 6 standard days, Zathan monitored Tilmai obsessively. She expected complications, infection, malunion, nerve damage. She documented everything, preparing her report to the medical council about the human's brutal methodology. But the complications never came. The bone healed, straight and true. The swelling subsided. When Sarah returned to remove the splint, the limb functioned perfectly. Tilmai walked out of the medical bay without even a limp, chattering excitedly about the brave human warrior who had fixed his leg. I don't understand, Sathan admitted as they watched the cub leave with his parents. Your methods are crude, even violent. Yet the outcome is perfect. Sarah packed her canvas bag, that same unsettling smile on her face. You know what your medicine and ours have in common, Doc? We both want to heal people. The difference is, humans have been doing this for millennia without fancy tech. We learned to work with the body's natural processes instead of overriding them. Sometimes the old ways work just fine. She shouldered her bag. Your equipment is great for what it does, but it makes you dependent. What happens when the power fails, when the regenerator breaks, when you're somewhere without support? She tapped her temple. Humans carry our medicine here. Knowledge, improvisation, and the will to save lives with whatever we have on hand. After Sarah left, Zathen stood in the empty medical bay for a long time. She thought about her equipment, her training, her absolute certainty that advanced technology was the only path to proper medicine. Then she accessed the human medical databases and began to read about splints, sutures, and something called wilderness medicine. Perhaps, she thought, brutality and brilliance were separated by nothing more than perspective. And perhaps the humans, who had learned to heal in the harshest conditions imaginable, had something to teach the galaxy after all.